Okay, so here we are for the battle against Rose for IBL Finals. He brings pretty much the 6 I was expecting. It is Terra Water on Kilowattrel. Shockingly, it's Terra Water Terra Water on Ogerpon. And we are Terra Dragon on the Salamence and Terra Steel on Sinister. Salamence, once again, potential for endgame here. I was going to go Terra Flying, but I actually like the resist that Dragon give me. Or at least would give me against like Kilowattrel and Ogerpon. Two mons that we are a little bit weak to, but let's have a look. There's a chance of 𝙍𝙊𝙏𝙃 lead. There's a chance that like Ogerpon leads and tries to claim one off rip. So Sinister could be pretty good as a lead into those. Outside of that, like Kilowattrel's not ideal for me to try and switch into, but at the same, I could just lead off with Rotom and Trick, get the Trick off early. But then if they lead Kilowattrel, they're just going to Terra Blast Water anyway, right? So I think I'll go with the Sinister lead. And if they lead off with Kilowattrel, it's unfortunate, but we'll just, like, Rotom is kind of a spare slot. It was sort of here because we didn't have a great 6th member. Against this much, like, kind of fat, Greninja struggled to break through any of it and really didn't have enough in terms of the speed to outspeed Kilowattrel, so Hen is the lead. That's the Kilowattrel. You hate to see it, don't you? So I have two options. I could just go ahead and Terra and Shadow Ball twice, but the safer option, realistically, is just to go out into Rotom. And if they predict it, like, yeah, what can I do? Like, I don't want to sacrifice Ursaring at this point. Hurricane seems fairly likely, so I don't really want to go into Great Tusk. There is the opportunity that they'll go for like a U-turn or a Volt Switch, because I could Terra Steel. If they go for that, I don't care too much, so I will just go out into my Rotom. If they Terra this, then Ogerpon becomes less of an issue. And by less of an issue, I mean it's still a really big fucking issue for my team. It does just Volt Switch. Okay. Puts me down to 256, but we'll at least be able to trick the Scarf onto Ting-Lu if it comes in. In fact, Scarf onto any of his bulk is actually pretty nice for me. I do expect Ting-Lu to want to come in and set up hazards because it's Ting-Lu. And if that's the case, just getting the trick off on it would be huge. Because we can trick and then we can just Willow. Like, I know this outspeeds Ogerpon and it's one of the few things that will. But realistically, we're not actually going to deal with Ogerpon offensively. We're going to look at it more defensively, so cry about it. Is that the Ogerpon? That is the Ogerpon. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to click Will-O-Wisp. I will happily get a burn on this in exchange for my Rotom. And if they SD, we land it. Love to see that. If they SD, then we just go out into Sinister and we're good. Legion's Cudgel. We might take this because it's burned. Yeah, we do. Nice. So we get to keep this around to like trick, lock into Scarf later on. So yeah, just going to go back out into Sinister. They definitely could predict this and go out into their Kilowattrel. That'd be a good play because realistically, like they know for sure I'm Scarfed. There's no two ways about it. I'm Scarfed. So they could just make that read and go back in because a burned Kilowattrel is not the end of the world. Whilst me just getting Sinister in for free is actually quite bad for him. He doesn't have great ghost resists outside of Ting-Lu, but even Ting-Lu's not really wanting to deal with it. So yeah, they are going to make the double. Okay, good play. Back out into Hen. I'm once again just going to go out into Rotom. Like, it's already got value. And if they decide to Terra here, then like I think this now does become their mon they want to Terra. But they're just going to go for Air Slash. Okay. Well, that certainly isn't going to do enough. And I'm just going to go for an Overheat. If Ting-Lu comes in, then we can switch out. But we'll get to see whether or not you're Scarfed as well. Because I believe we outspeed Scarf. Oh no, we definitely don't. Well, we choice Scarf ourselves. As in we are Scarf. We're not outspeeding them with their Scarf, but we're Scarfed. That's what I was going for. But they don't know that I don't outspeed it, so they may not want to take this damage. They may also just Terra Water here. But I don't think that's choice damage. I think that's just probably boots, if I had to guess. They are going to withdraw. Again, if Ting comes in, kind of fine. This is also kind of fine. It's the reason I didn't want to go for it. That's a really good amount of damage. They could die to another one. So I do kind of expect the Ting-Lu to come in here. And because you're burned, you really don't do a lot of damage. I'm also AV, and we've seen the Air Slash, so I actually don't care too much about the Kilowattrel. How much is Tusk taking from Ogerpon? Because we're EV to live. The Terra Water, Ogerpon, Ivy Cudgel. Which, by the way, is fucking ridiculous. Just gonna say that, it's actually ridiculous. Burns, Ivy Cudgel will do 30%. Honestly, I'm just gonna go for an overheat again. Yeah, they're gonna let this go. Okay, Rotom actually put in so much work in this game. Ogerpon going down is huge. Now we have less things for Great Tusk to be scared of. Because we're AV, we're not scared particularly of like a Pheasantipity. A little bit scared of Pheasantipity. And not particularly scared of Uxie either. Like, Uxie is probably the switch in, if I had to guess, so I will knock every time. Could have gone for Mega Horn actually. Mega Horn would have hit Ting and Uxie, but it is what it is. Everything losing their item is always going to be bad for them, especially when we need Ting-Lu weakened for Salamence endgame. So, Rotom, for being just a 6th mon that I added onto the team, just to kind of trick and do those kind of shenanigans, turned out to do pretty well for the team. There's a strong chance of a Terra Water here. I could just keep this around. How much are you doing to boot Mence with Kilo? Because you're Air Slash. You're not Hurricane, you're Air Slash. Thunderbolt doesn't do half. Unless you're Modest, which would be a bit ballsy. So I think I'm going to keep Rotom around. I don't have a reason to just sack it at this point. It's still useful for tricking a Scarf onto a Ting-Lu later. And if they Terra Water, Terra Blast, which they don't, but if they did, we'd be in a good spot. Okay, so I'm just going to Roost, because you should switch. You don't know my set, this could be Scarfed as well, and I would expect the Fez to come in. There's part of me that really wants to start clicking Volt Switch and just seeing whether or not this is Volt Absorb. They are going to just Volt Switch out. That was a crit? No. Okay, that just did a lot of damage. Was that like a max roll Volt Switch? Like... Ting-Lu comes in. Okay. Unless you go for a Whirlwind, then there is nothing for me to fear with Rotom. You could go for a Ruination, which would do like 12, as Winston has absolutely fucking nuked me back here. Ruination, yep. And I'm just going to go for the trick. If we trick the Kilowattrel, it just means that we know it's Scarfed. And okay, so we get the Ting with this. Amazing. Are you lefties? Citrus? Choice Scarf yourself? Citrus, so we get a bit of health back as well. This Rotom has worked overtime and then some. Like, Stone Edge misses? Fucking hell, I'm sorry. So now I just get a Willow off for free, and we'll potentially live the Stone Edge afterwards. So a little bit of luck in the early game. We have hit all the Willows as well, which definitely helps things. As I Stone Edge again, and we do live that. Do I want to preserve this one last time? I mean, I certainly could preserve it as a sack, because I think at some point I'm going to need that. So, if they Ruination, just a good play. But I think you probably Stone Edge here, just to be sure. Yeah. The downside to knocking, obviously, is that we would be positioned quite badly. Well, we will be positioned badly actually against this. If I expect the Uxie to come in, I could just make a double. Certainly something I could do. But I think it's actually just better for me all round to what, close combat and then knock off after. Like I don't fear Uxie at all. So in case they want to like let me have Ting-Lu because it's burned. And yeah, this is what I expected, but I also don't feel like I'm necessarily in a position where I need to make plays. Are you Helmet? If you're Helmet, I'd probably switch. You're not Helmet, so I will knock. And if you're faster and you turn out into the Ting, then, you know what, good play, you got me. But even if this is Specs, it's not doing enough damage to me. I don't... Yeah, you are going to U-turn. I assume back into Ting Lu. I think I said to pivot into Tusk earlier, but that certainly wasn't it. But if they want to just keep making these plays, then I'm kind of fine with that. They go into Fez, that's even better for me. Because this set is designed to take on Fez, it's designed to take on 𝙍𝙊𝙏𝙃𝙀𝙃, two of the things that I knew that he would bring in to try and check it. It's just Ting. Okay, so we knock off the Scarf. I don't ignore me earlier when I said he might switch up moves, because he couldn't switch up moves, but now he can switch up moves. That's fine, it's no longer the fastest Ting Lu in the West. And I am simply just going to close combat again. I'm just getting bits of chip here and there on the 𝙍𝙀𝙃𝙀. If he keeps this in, it will die. So, but has this even got Whirlwind? I don't know. But we're almost in a position where we can, like, as long as we get the right setup fodder, which could be the Kilowattrel actually, we can then go for Terra Dragon and just Dragon Dance. It's going to withdraw again. Completely fair, but we are getting our bits of chip here on 𝙍𝙀𝙃𝙀, so I'm always fine with that. And I think this time I switch out, I'm a -2, the Psychic or Psychic Noise would actually do quite a bit of damage. And I'm just going to go out to my Metagross, which actually itself could win from here. They knock off, that's unfortunate, but they Psychic Noise, cool. So I don't think you want to switch hard out into Ting Lu, but just in case you do, okay, set up rocks. Are you going to be Encore, Psychic Noise, U-turn? I would have thought T-Wave, but we'll see whether or not it's Encore here, because that's also another thing we need to be aware of when it comes to potential Salamence endgame. So I will just go for a Heavy Slam. They are Encore, okay. But the thing is for them, is that I don't need to switch. I can't use Iron Defense, of course. Is that I don't need to switch. That was a crit, you fucker. If they go into Ting, then they probably just Whirlwind, right? I think the Encore will last for one more turn after this, so if they haven't got Whirlwind, could be in a good spot. Now, Fez can't break this. We've already seen that it can't. Air Slash from Kilowattrel to my Salamence will not do enough. At this point, I'm pretty safe to assume it's in Spectrier. Okay. Well, obvious switch is obvious, but Ursaring has to come in here. If they go for a Willow, then we just get our guts. They're going to plot. I mean, I just crunch. It's Psychic. That does so much damage. And it's colder. Now the good news is that by Terra Steel you should still be able to live one. But what I'd rather do here is not give him the boost and just let my Rotom die to rocks. Now, Spectrier at +2, it is a problem. Can I live a Psychic with my Tusk? I actually don't know if I can live with anything actually at this point. I think it's just because of the rocks. I've got to go Tusk, but I think because of the rocks I'm now just in range. It's a roll. It is a hefty roll as well. Regardless, I've got to go for it. And Spec might just sweep me here. Yeah, it gets the roll. That's tough. Yeah, Specs wins. Spec just beats us. Because I don't think like anything after rocks was going to die. Unfortunately, Sinistcha just was in range. of +2 Shadow Ball. So my best bet now is a Bullet Punch crit. So I misplayed a lot there. By staying in with the Metagross, I should have switched out. Bullet Punch, not going to do enough. Yeah. Shadow Ball will take us out. And that is just going to be game. Good game to Rose. Spec is going to sweep us in finals. That's a tough one, but at the same time, like, he positioned his Wincon really well, so I can't be mad. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. Let's just let every mon die to Spec. Maybe should have gone Terra Normal on this instead of Terra Steel. So that was a little bit of hubris on my part. But at the same time, you know, it is what it is. You can't win them all. And yeah, we had a great season to come back from, what, 1-3 at the start to end up in finals. And yeah, Spec just did Spec things, unfortunately. Not a lot we could do about it. Yeah, I had no other move to click other than Crunch there as well, so it wouldn't have mattered. And yeah, make sure you check out Rose. His link will be down in the description below. This is just a very unfortunate endgame. It's just spiraling out of control. I should have brought a Scarfer, yes. But I also felt like I could handle Spec. Clearly that wasn't the case. Spec with rocks was the issue. So I'll just outrage. There's no point in Terror. And yeah, I needed to set my Wincon before he set up his. I didn't do that. So that's on me. Good game to Rose. I want to say it was a closer one than the, what, 5-0 in the end that it was. But like if you enjoyed the battle, subscribe. And until next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.